Yo, guys, so today I want to talk about how consciousness and its degrees of, consciousness and how they supercharge your life. So essentially, when you are conscious, okay, you are seeing things separately from yourself. When you are conscious, the more conscious you are, the more detached you are. And so you are very attractive because you are totally detached. You become like an empty receptacle because consciousness is the empty space in between cells, in between energy, is the empty space. Sorry, I'm lisping today. But when you are conscious, you are able to. Let's look at weakness, for example. I was laying in bed yesterday morning, and I felt this feeling like I didn't want to get out of bed. And I identified with this feeling, you know, because I had been doing that the last few weeks that I've just been sleeping in like a loser. And so what I did was consciously I looked at the feeling. I observed this feeling of, I don't want to get out of bed. The blanket is so warm. And consciously, I separated it from myself. I observed the feeling. I grabbed it and I put it over here. I just put it aside. And I stood up and I started my day. And it was a very good day. It was a very productive day. Um, and so I want to say to you, the most important message of this video is that consciousness is kind of the key to everything. Because the only way to make anything happen is to understand how to make it happen, or to become a person who can make it happen. When you are conscious, you do the things instinctively that you need to do, and you go in the right directions because you know what is good for you and you know exactly what you want to do. When you are conscious, you can see your biggest desire. And in order to attain to liberation or to attain to enlightenment involves the process of realizing that other things are not the answer. The things that you desire are not the answer. But you can only know this. This is the beautiful nature of the universe, is that you can only know this by being a person who has their greatest desires. Your dream woman, your dream house, your dream plot of land, your dream car, whatever it is. Because once you get it, you'll realize that it's not everything. It's amazing, but it's not everything. Okay, let's look at Gautama Buddha. Before he was enlightened, he was walking and he crossed paths with an astrologer. And the astrologer looked at his footprint and he said to him, "You will either be a great sage or a great emperor." And so the father took care of him very well. The father took care of Gautama very well and made sure that he didn't see the rigorous, difficulties of the outside world, because his father wanted him to be a king. Remember, the sage said, "Gautama, you will be a sage or you will be an emperor." And so his father wanted uh, the latter. And so Gautama becomes an emperor of a certain princely state in India at the time. And he gets his dream wife. He gets his dream palace. Um, and they even have a child. And the yearning inside of him, after getting everything that he had ever dreamed of, the yearning inside of him had become for something beyond the truth, which is enlightenment, whatever you want to call it, heaven, um, whatever you want to call it. And so in the middle of the night, he left, like a thief in the night, they say. He left, and he just started walking away. And essentially, he went to these yoga schools. Okay, so there were countless yoga schools in India before Patanjali created the Yoga Sutras. There were countless yoga schools because they hadn't been standardized, they hadn't been, there was no aligned teaching at the time. And so Gautama, he would walk and he went to, I think, many, many, many of these yoga schools, and he learned many things: samadhi, meditation, yoga, many things. And none of these things brought him the highest. He knew that every time he reached a certain state, there was something more. None of these things could quench his thirst. And so he had these disciples. After a while, he became a samana. And these people don't go in search of anything which their impulses tell them to go after. So they won't go after sex, they won't go after food or shelter, they will just keep walking. Whatever people bring them, they will eat it. These are hardcore samanas, hardcore spiritual practitioners. And so Gautama took it a step further, and he went years with barely eating anything. It was 4 years that he was a samana, and he got to, I can't remember which river it was. It might have been, I don't know. And he gets to this river that's flowing, and he wants to get to the other side to go sit under the trees. And he stepped into the river, but he was so weak that when he set foot into the river, he froze. He could not move. He had no energy to move, and his hand had grasped the branch above him. And they say that nobody knows how long he waited until he came to his senses. Some people say it could have been 100 years, or maybe it just felt like 100 years. And so Gautama, when his eyes opened, he walked across the river, and he looked at a Bodhi tree, and he sat under it, and he said to his disciples, I will not move from this spot until I have attained enlightenment. And if I do not attain, I will die here. And that night on Guru Purnima, Buddha Purnima, don't quote me on that. It was a full moon night, and he attained on that night. And now he has all these people following him, and they haven't been eating for the last 4 years. They've had like some food here and there, maybe once a week, twice a week. Very hardcore Gautama's path. It was a difficult path to follow. And he sat down and he said, okay, let's eat. And his disciples, they immediately, they were going with him because they felt that he was going to attain and he would be able to teach them. And when he finally attained and said, let's eat, everyone left. All his disciples, they said, but we've been following you for 4 years. We haven't been eating. And they just left. Forgive me, guys, I'm not the best storyteller. And so Gautama sat and he cooked some mushrooms, and he, replenished himself. And from there on, he taught consciousness. He taught his understanding, the Eightfold Path. But the basis of his teaching was balance. Because think of this, he lived as a samana. Okay? It was an extreme contrast all the time. No food, you're starving, your skin is flaking away, it's cold, it's hot, there's no shelter if it's raining. Every day you feel like you're going to die. Okay? Every single day. It feels you would beg for death. Okay? It's torture. It's destroying your karma. It's destroying your identity. This is what being a samana is about. And when he attained, he began to teach balance. This was the basis of his teaching. Balance. And this is why we see the yin and yang, light and dark, and then the light circle is in the dark and the black circle is in the light, because it is all one. So what I'm trying to say about consciousness is that if you are simply conscious, you can find the balance in your life that you need. Okay? Even brushing your teeth. The doctor says brush your teeth for 2 minutes a day, twice a day. But let's say you didn't even, all you ate that day was a salad and some meat, and you've lost your teeth. And now you're sitting there and you think, but I need to brush my teeth for 2 minutes. But you already brushed your teeth for 2 minutes that morning. So now you go to brush your teeth and your teeth start hurting. Because if you were conscious, you would have seen that. All you would have to do is rinse your mouth out, brush your tongue, and give your teeth just a light scrub. Okay, just a light, and then you would have been fine. But no, you had to do the 2 minutes because the doctor said so. So what I want to say is, okay, just to get to the final point, is that consciousness is the key to doing things properly. It is the key to attaining the things that you want. The more ignorant you are, the further away you go from the things that you could have. Okay, if you sit down here and you just meditate and you let your identity just fade, you just go deep into yourself, and you literally, mentally, physically, spiritually, you just let go of everything and accept this moment right here. And you do this every day, and you become a conscious individual, an alert individual. You will be able to make better decisions. You will be able to speak in a different way. You will be able to love people in a different way. People will treat you differently if you do, these practices, just minor basic meditation, which I teach in the Zenith scroll below. Top link in the description. It is something I've created to help you to master the body, the mind, and the spirit. I really think you guys will like it. I've made it pretty cheap for you. Personally, I think it's worth a lot more, but I think it'll benefit you. So top link in the description. But yeah, consciousness is the most important factor in your life when it comes to anything, because you are consciousness. Consciousness is truth. Consciousness is the attainment that you're actually looking for. It is the enlightenment and the heaven that you are looking for in your life. What is hell is being compelled, having impulses which you cannot control. This is hell. When you cannot control your actions, when you give your consciousness away, when you decide that ignorance is easier than being conscious, which it is. It's always easier to do the wrong thing, to do the bad thing. But yeah, guys, consciousness is the key. Focus on that, and you will attain everything that you want to attain in life. And I will see you guys very soon. Zenith scroll, top link in the description. Like and subscribe. Namaste.